listening to The Terrible Outdoorsman.
This is Keith Stanton from Pike Spearing Outdoors, and you're listening to The Terrible Outdoorsman Podcast.
We're probably going to mess up. We're going to cuss here and there. If I'm not catching anything, I might as well not be catching the muskie.
Rick. We got weights and fish!
Danny Irvin with Fishing Complete. You're listening to the Terrible Outdoorsman Podcast.
Mr. Green Jeans. That's a humble bumble.
Hi, this is Spencer Berman from Spencer's Angling Adventures, and you're listening to the Terrible Outdoorsman Podcast.
Snort.
Casino.
At the casino, that's what I used to play dice with. So
I'm telling you, if we take all the money from the Terrible Outdoorsman Podcast and we start investing that at the casino, we could double our money.
I've been buying crypto with it. I thought that's what we all signed up for.
I thought that's what we were supposed to do.
Yeah.
Was buy crypto.
Yeah. Was that not what we were supposed to do?
Yeah. I mean, either that or what we could do is invest in some streetwalkers, some street walking women, and we could double our money pretty quick.
Yeah, there you go.
You know,
and have them wear Terrible Outdoorsman. It's called guerrilla marketing.
yeah. I mean, there's a
especially when the women look like gorillas. Oh man,
handsome women,
handsome buggers. They have nice Adam's apples.
Yeah. Good grief.
All right, let's go. Let's just use that as a cue in. So welcome to the episode. We're gonna throw this together and make it happen. Episode 194 coming at you. I just got back
closer to that 200 mark.
Yeah, according to you, like
it's only 9 months away now.
Yeah. Well, it's only like five weeks away now.
I'm no mathematician, but like when you're like, oh, it's 194 and there's only like 6 more episodes until 200, and I'm like, 6 episodes is 6 weeks, bro.
But you know how fast 6 weeks? Well,
we're
gone for a week for deer season. You know,
like 14 months.
And then you got the rutcation that I'm going to take the first week in November. And then you got Christmas and or not Christmas, Thanksgiving and Black Friday weekend. Like, dude, time's going to fly over the next month. So that's what I'm saying. Got to get this shit planned out. Got to get it going. So you got Ryan and Bob here. That's it. That's all you need. That's all you need in life.
So you know that's the OGs.
The OGs. The O's.
How this shit started.
Yeah. I mean, you got to throw Jason into the OG. He suffered through the first 3-hour episode, but
was it just me and you on the first episode, or was Jason there on the first episode?
No, Jason was there.
Was he there? I haven't listened to that fucking episode in forever.
It's still good, man. I go back and listen to it every now and then, and like
it can't be good.
Listen to how nervous we were.
Like maybe like nostalgic to listen to, but not good.
It is, dude. It's got some really funny parts because we're telling stories and stuff that like I forgot about until then. But then you can just progressively hear after like an hour in and 2 hours in, like we're getting sloppier and sloppier, getting more and more drunk, cracking beer cans open about every 5 minutes. So yeah, we were trash.
Yeah, remember when we would do that? We would just like hold the beer up to the mic and then crack it so you can hear it.
I don't know why we don't do that anymore.
Why don't we do that anymore?
I don't know, because we got soft.
Like nobody drinks anymore. Everybody's just like, oh no, we have to be super serious about everything.
I'm thinking about switching beer for deer camp, by the way.
We have sponsors now, so like now we're slaves to our sponsors. I'm just kidding.
Pretty much.
Love your sponsors.
We're definitely not slaves. Those people would not be our sponsors because nobody's going to be our sponsor that listens to the show and doesn't understand us.
I remember I told you at the beginning because like the whole sponsor thing kind of came up pretty quickly, and I told you I was like, I don't want sponsors. Not that I was totally against like sponsors, right? Because sponsors can bring added value to the production part of it.
Yeah.
But I was totally against like sponsoring anything that I didn't like use or believe in.
Yeah.
Like because I hate seeing that shit. I hate
Yeah.
seeing like a show that goes out there and just sells out to some shit that they don't fucking use, will
Nope.
never use, especially when it comes to the outdoors, or like hunting and fishing shows, and you're like, fucking
Mhm.
in fisherman over here, like
Yeah.
sponsoring, being sponsored by MaxiPad or some shit, Tampax. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. I'm just kidding.
Man.
That's not a real thing. I'm just using that as hyperbole here.
No,
but-
it makes sense. Like that's the thing. Like, we're not going to have anybody that's going to be a sponsor that we don't fucking use, that we don't stand by, we don't believe in, because that's just not who we are. I'm not going to do a read where I'm going to sit here and I'm going to read a fucking script. Any sponsorship conversations we've had with any sponsors, I'm like, I'm not going to read a script. If that's what you want, if that's what you want, we're not for you, because that's not, to me, that's fake.
I remember us being approached by like several companies, and we're like, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
well, this is what we do, and we're like, man, sounds not at all what we're into, or
Yeah, it sounds like nothing I want to talk about every
sounds
week.
sounds like nothing that we're gonna like. Hey, thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Yeah, it's the same kind of vibe there.
Yeah,
But-
yeah. Well, speaking of that, let's just get right into the sponsors so we don't forget, like we do most of the time. So I don't think you've been on in a while. So talk real quick about your West Point Shores trip and West Point Shores.
Oh man, I love that place.
Have you? I don't think you've been on in a while to talk about it.
I think I recapped it. I don't know. I mean, it was a great time of year. Like, we had great weather.
Why did you get so loud all of a sudden? Did you change something?
I didn't change something.
Sweet Jesus, we can't figure this out.
Oh my god, this is why we can't get sponsors. No, the trip was good. I had a lot of fun. Took my father-in-law and took my wife up there, and like we were able to. We tied into some fish, but we didn't really fish it as hard as we normally do in the spring trip. Like, in the spring trip, it's like we're there on a mission, At least Ryan is. I'm a little more laid back in recent years. But
who won the bet last year? Woo, woo.
That's fun too, I guess. But for this trip, I was just like, I just wanted to take my wife and Tom up there. I know my wife, and she loves to fish, but she also loves to like relax. So I was like, this is gonna be a relaxing fishing trip. I'm not waking people up with pots and pans, banging at 7 o'clock in the morning. Like, let's get on the boat. Like we slept in every day. Like, we were lucky if we got on the lake by 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
So we got out there, and we'd go out there and we'd fish for 3-4 hours, and we would every single time we tied in the fish though. Like, we caught some really nice bass, caught a couple nice pike. We caught a few keepers, which I capped and caught them up, and then we did like a little fish fry with my mom and dad came up as well, so was able to like fry up some fish and have a little bit of fishing camp ambiance to it. But
dude, Dad,
yeah, it was fun.
Dad's been talking about
issues.
that fish for like, I don't know, since you guys got back. That's all he tells you about is how good that pike was that you guys had up there.
It was really good. They battered it in, I don't even know the name of it. It's like
Kentucky Colonel,
Kentucky Colonel, Country Colonel, some shit like that. But it had a completely different flavor to it than like Drake's or some of the other normal like batters that you use. It was really good. No lies there, But
I use that Kentucky Colonel all the time. Like, it's just a seasoned flour is all it is.
Yeah,
it's good as fuck, man. I use it all the time.
Yeah. We need to call them up and see if they'll be a sponsor. But,
ooh, sponsor!
But no, we had a great time. No issues, no boat issues, no terrible stories to be told on that one. Like, it was like, knock on wood, where like shit actually, everything went according to plan. Like, I had no plan, and it all went according to my no plan. So.
Yeah. But how was your
it was
fall stay at West Point Shores?
It was quiet. There, it wasn't as packed. I think it's kind of their down season, or like kind of getting towards the end of their season. There was a few kind of regulars that came up there, but other than that, like, there was a couple cabins were vacant. But everything was great. Like it was one of those good trips where like I didn't have anything to say about it. Like normally I'm the kind of guy, I've got a lot of shit to say, a lot of shit to talk about, a lot of shit. But
You're
that
a
was
shit
one of the
talking son of the.
yeah, and like anybody, I can complain with the rest of them. So when some shit doesn't go right, but like no complaints at all. It seems to be like that every time I go up to West Point Shores. It's like I don't have shit to complain about. Like the hospitality is great. They actually invited me to come up a couple weeks later. There was an Army, like a military appreciation night happening at Alpena High School, and they were asking Dustin asked if I could be part of it, and was actually going to keep me up at the cabins over the weekend, and I was like, yeah, just because of like rules and like when it comes to the recruiting world, I couldn't take him up on it, but it was cool that they offered, but. Yeah, it was a great time. Great time in a good time of year to go, especially if you want to like a relaxing trip where you can still catch fish, but there's not that much. There wasn't a lot of pressure. There's not a lot of people around. It was a good time. Different than the spring for sure.
Yeah,
Like the weeds were up high, and I would say that the fishing was a little bit more difficult in that respect because you had to fish it a certain way. I think we threw spinner baits like all weekend long, but like you can catch anything on a spinner bait. And we did. So, but yeah, it was a good trip.
good deal.
So
Well,
West Point Shores, where all your dreams come true. And if you want to get 10% off, is it 10% off your stay?
10% off your stay.
Just tell them you've heard about us. Hey, I heard about this stupid podcast one time, and my friend told me about it, but I don't actually listen to it because they're a bunch of idiots. And maybe they'll give you 10% off your stay.
Possibly. Quite possibly. Yeah. Well, good stuff. Good stuff. I want to try to get up there this year for some ice fishing if we actually get a winner, just to try it. I know it's your favorite, but I think it'd be fun.
Man, I fucking love some ice fishing.
Yeah. But I think it'd be fun to just be able to walk off the dock onto the ice and just fucking walk out there, set some tip ups, and just go sit in the cabin and watch your flags. Like, I think that'd be a good ass time. But
it probably would be. That would be a good time. I might go.
It's right there, like right in front of the cabin. Like you could walk out 30 yards, go set up your tip ups, go chill in the warm cabin, and wait and watch for flags. Like that'd be fun as fuck.
No, dude, you would still go over to Bass Cove. Like you'd be on the 4-wheeler. Driving
I'd still be throwing spinner baits.
You'd be over in Bass Cove, drilling holes, throwing spinner baits at your hole.
Yep. You know it. That's how I roll. Oh, then we got Fishing Complete Inc., home of Case Plastics, the old wacky tool, zipper worm, lunch money tubes, all the good stuff. I caught a few fish on some Case Plastics this weekend, actually. I'll get into that. But the baby swim, it's kind of like a Kitech, like a ribbed shad type thing. But that's one of my favorites of their Case Plastics. It's a much cheaper version of the Kitech, and honestly, they're more durable than the Kitechs in my eyes. So you have to check those out. But use code Terrible and get 20% off your order. They do have RS Nets MillerTech batteries. Those the code does not work for those, but they still have them. So check out the MillerTechs if you're looking for a lithium battery. So, which might be me here next year. We'll see. Next year or the year after, I got to see.
I ain't got that kind of loot.
Well, when you think about like what they cost and what their warranty is compared to what I'm going to spend in batteries over the next 10 years, it's really the same. It's going to be the same, but they're going to last longer, and you don't have to fuck with them as often, and they're significantly lighter. So it's just,
That's true.
Do you want to pay that upfront cost? Because, like I said, when some of these batteries come with a 10-year warranty, well, the trolling motor batteries, you get like 3 years. You're waiting on your trolling motor batteries before you got to buy them. Well, fuck, trolling motor batteries, they're $150 a pop now. We got to have 2 of them. Well, that's $300 for one set of batteries. So if you got to change that out every 3 years, I mean, fuck, that's $900 you're going to spend in batteries over 10 years. Well, Miller Tech batteries, you can buy one single 24 amp battery for like $7.99. It's one battery. You don't need to run them in series or anything like that. It's just one fucking battery you hook up to, and they weigh they're like 25 pounds for one 24 volt battery. So
yeah, I'm due. I'm due for one because I bought that. Well, I had one and then got the new trolling motor where I went to a 24 volt system. So now I'm using one of my older batteries with a brand new battery. So I know that old one is on its last legs. So I've got to. I have to switch them out.
Well, think about it. Fishing Complete Inc. Local Michigan company out of Canton, Michigan. So go Terrible. All capital letters. Go Terrible. And then Vanguard Outdoors. We talked about every week. Talk about the VO bundle. I'm going to talk about that again because I'm stoked to try these. I'm going to try to get in the woods this weekend if it's possible. Weather's not looking great. They're talking some rain this weekend, so we'll see. But if I get in the wood this weekend, I'm looking forward to trying that new VO binoculars. I've checked them out like in the yard and stuff, but I haven't checked them out in the woods yet. So cool to get them in action. But use code Terrible20 and get 20% off your order with that Vanguard Outdoors. I think it's vanguardworld.com is the website. Linked in all of our episodes and all of our social media posts. So.
Weather's been weird lately, man.
So weird, man. So weird. So I just got back from the UP yesterday. Now I figured we'll break that down real quick. Not a whole lot happened, but I figured like it's enough to where, I want to break it down because I got some terrible stories, got some good stories. Just, we did a little hunting prep work, if you will. So, I wanted to get into that. And then Thursday, we're actually recording. I don't know if I forgot to send this out, Bob, for if you can make it. But Thursday, we're recording with Dylan. He's the Extreme Outdoorsman. I don't know if you follow his page. He's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. He's got a pretty good following now. He's a local, I think I don't know if Garden City, Westland area. He's called the Extreme Outdoorsman. He fishes Kent Lake, St. Clair, a lot like that. He's got some pretty funny stuff. Great fishing content on his pages. But he's going to come on Thursday. We're going to record with him on Thursday. So I figured, and then before that, like after that, we're going to probably be talking deer camp prep. So I'm like, let's do this. Let's get something out there. And let me break down this UP trip. So
I want to get into deer camp prep now.
Deer camp prep now?
Yeah. Fucking loser.
All right, we're back. Bob had to make the urine.
Drain the vein, if you will.
Oh, wow.
Oh, hold on a second.
There you go, right into the mic.
Oh.
Should I gulp into the mic? I'm sure we did lots of that shit in the beginning, too.
Oh, my God. It was so gross.
We're idiots. Oh, man.
So what were we talking about? Deer camp prep?
No, we're talking the UP. We're talking hunting big northern pike in the UP. That's what we're talking.
Sounds like a good time.
It was a good time. It was. So I know like you're obviously part about it. Are supposed to be part of this trip. Your schedule got fucked up, but you missed out on a good time. We were going to do this trip last year, couldn't do it because something happened with your dog. Right? Was that when Bailey's got all fucked up? When we were going to do this trip last year?
Yeah, actually it was.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Because we had to cancel last year at last minute because Bailey's fucking legs gave out or whatever the fuck happened.
She broke her damn back.
Yeah. But so we wanted to do this trip for a while, and it was kind of the plan was take my boat up, do a little fishing, do a little hunting prep, do a little scouting, try to find some new spots so we don't have UP Googans walking up on us like last year. That was the idea, right?
UP yucks.
Yeah. So Mark and I headed up on Wednesday, and we were going to go after work because that was the original plan. And then once found out that you weren't going to be able to make it up, I had already taken Wednesday off. So did Mark. And I told Mark, I was like, well, fuck, if Bobby's not going to make it, we're going to have to wait for him to get off work. I said, let's just go. let's just get up there. So got up there. We left Mark's house about 9:45 or so. Took 27 up, which anybody who doesn't take 27 up north, what's wrong with you? 27 is the nicest drive.
So 127?
127, yeah.
Yeah.
Like anybody who takes, I mean, I get it, depending on where you're going. Like, I'm not going to take 27 if I'm going over to Saginaw or like to the east side of the state. That doesn't make sense. But otherwise, if it at all makes like sense to take 27 over 75, dude, take 27. It is worth every second of that drive.
October 11th, Ryan.
When?
That was the date that Bailey
Yeah,
back
and
out.
we were going up around that same time,
Yeah.
like the 13, 14, something like that. So, anyways, we take 27 up because we left from Mark's house, which is kind of closer to Howell area, and so just a beautiful drive up, man. Like it hit absolutely no traffic, even in Lansing. Like it got down to one lane, but like everything moved smooth because the time of day we left, like just everything was great. Got up there. Had to stop at that gas station that you stopped at when you were heading up. That one on Otsego Lake.
Oh yeah.
I was coming up to that gas station, and all of a sudden my low fuel light came on, and I'm like, well, fuck! I guess I'm stopping at the same one Bob stops at. It's a nice ass gas station.
I have stopped there. I can't tell you how many times for random ass reasons.
Yeah,
it's so weird that like I stopped there twice this year.
Yeah, just the way it works out.
Just like I came when I was coming. I don't mean to cut off your story, but like I was coming back from Winya in the spring. I think it was. No, it was this last time. And where like I took some back ass way, like 32 to 33, and then came out somewhere. It was supposed to bring me out somewhere around Grayling, and boom, I came right out of that gas station. I'm like, this goddamn gas station. And we ran into that gas station like 100, like, I don't know, what was that, 10 years ago in the snow.
It's a nice ass gas station.
Anyway, it's not bad.
It's got a big parking lot. You can pull a boat or a camper in there nice. So I'm like, that's my go-to to stop there and top off, just because they have like a nice like concession in there. Like they got a nice coolers and some snacks and stuff. So it's like, that's a good ass gas station. So anyways, just a great drive up. And from Mark's house to camp, it's 400 miles to the dot. It only took us a little over 6 hours to get there. Like
that's not bad.
That's not bad. Hauling a boat too. And I pretty much rolled 70 the whole way, because it's 75 all the way up on 27, the whole way up 27. But I don't like hauling the boat that fast. So like 70 is typically my max. So I put it at 70. I put the cruise control on, and like, dude, I didn't have to take the cruise control off. I don't think till we hit the bridge. Like that's how good the drive was on the way up. Well, besides when I had to stop and get gas, I guess. But yeah, then got across the bridge, smooth sailing over there. Always cool to cross the Mighty Mac. Got on US 2, and then US 2 now is 65 miles per hour all the way across. So like I rolled 70 the whole way, and I never had to take it off cruise. It's like that never happens where you have that smooth of a drive up. Like normally you get stuck behind a fucking camper or a logging truck or some shit where you end up having to like slow down. But there's so many passing lanes down US 2 crossing the UP now that like, dude, all the way across. It was nice up until Manistee, and I topped off in Manistee. And
that's one of the nicest stretches of highway I think in the state.
US
I
2?
love US 2.
100%.
I always have, even when it was 55 miles an hour back in the day. It was slow going across.
Dude, if I ever see those car stickers that people always get, like for the roads, you ever see the road signs people put on the window?
I always see the M22.
Yeah, M22. I see 131 every now and then, which is weird because that's like a major highway over by you. Yeah. But like if I ever see the US 2 one, I'm getting a US 2 one because that's and 65. 65 is a really nice drive too. But.
I was going to say that when you were talking about 127. 131 is once you get up past like, I don't know, like Cedar Springs in that area, like just north of Grand Rapids. Once you're like 20 miles north of Grand Rapids, you feel like you're up north. Like you're seeing birch trees and you're seeing just pine trees. And it's just like, it feels like that drive, that piece of the drive between like Gaylord and the bridge. It's hilly. It's slightly hilly, and it's just woods on either side. And it's just, there's not that much traffic, especially once you get up past Big Rapids. There's nothing. And it's like, I love driving down 131.
Yeah.
Second favorite highway. How about
Yep.
that?
You're such a West Sider now. Listen to you.
I'm telling you, man. If you lived over here, you would never go back to that East Side, other than to go to a Lions game, a concert, or something in Detroit. But otherwise,
Yeah, I don't know about all that.
Never.
We'll see. But anyway, so yeah, drive up was great. Like we rolled into camp about 4:30, and yeah, just a great drive. Stopped it in Manistee, got gas, got my favorite chips on earth, Old Dutch. If I could get them as a sponsor, oh man, if I could get them as a sponsor, oh boy, Old Dutch, my favorite chips.
you have to go to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
I don't know where they're made. They're probably made in like fucking
No, it's
Wisconsin or something.
Wisconsin or Minnesota. Yeah, but they're only distributed in UP, Michigan. But anyways, yeah, good drive up and got the camp and got unloaded, and we went into town. That first night we didn't feel like cooking dinner, so we had already told Arnie, let's just go out to eat that first night. Supposed to meet up with my father-in-law. He was up there doing a tour of the UP, and he couldn't make it. They did a little too much day drinking before we got up there, so it didn't feel like driving into town. But went into Rapid River and went to the local establishment and got some eats. And that's where the first terrible story happens.
Where'd you guys go?
Rapid River Pub.
Okay.
Yeah, we were going to go to the Swallow, but there was like nobody in the Swallow. It was just dead. But Rapid River Pub was pretty hopping, so we're like, fuck it, let's go in there. And so sit down and like I'm going through the menu. And they're like, oh, it's wing night. It's wing Wednesdays. And I'm like, okay, I like wings and I like good deals on wings. So I ordered a dozen wings, and they just bring out all these different sauces for you. They're just dry and you just put your sauces on. So I'm like, all right, I'll get that. And then I'm looking at, I'm not super hungry because we like snacked the whole way up, but they had this combo platter and it's just like a bunch of appetizers. It's got like, it's seriously, dude, it's got like 12 different appetizers listed. And I'm thinking like, all right, you pick like a certain number of these, right? Like you pick 5 or 6 of these. So we go around the table and I'm the last one to order. And I was like, all right, I'll take, just give me a dozen wings and I'll take the combo platter. And like, before I can spit words out, she's like, all right. And she fucking starts walking away. And I'm like, I look at Arnie and I'm like, don't I have to tell her which one to order? And she's like, no, that's everything. You get it all. And I'm like, what? I'm like, there's like 12 things on this.
You get like enough food for like the whole trip in that order.
So actually before that, and it was kind of loud in there because they had music playing and it was pretty, like I said, it was pretty hopping. Well, she came around to Mark and she's like on the opposite side of the table from Mark. And, you know, Mark's, I don't know, he's 61 or 60, something like that. So like none of us can really hear that great. So she's talking kind of quiet and like Mark reads off what he wants. And she's like, you don't want something about like, you don't want the special and she rattled off something else. And Mark was like, yeah, that's fine. Give me that too. And I asked Mark after she left, I'm like, what did you just order? He's like, I don't know. He's like, you don't know what the fuck you just ordered? She's like, well, she said it was a special. So I just figured we'll just, whatever it is, we'll split it. I'm like, it could be fucking yak ass. I have no idea what the fuck this is.
Her special tonight is yak ass.
So she brings it out. So it comes out pretty quick, like 5 minutes later. And some kid comes up and he's like, you guys order the cheese cubes? And I'm like, what? Yeah, somebody ordered the special cheese cubes. I'm like, yeah, maybe Mark. So he sets them down and they're literally, imagine a cheese cube, right? Like you take a hunk of a cheese, right? And fucking cube it up. And they didn't bread it.
Nobody knows what a hunk of cheese is. That's a Colin thing. But
that's a story with it.
I know you're talking about.
Block cheese. How's that?
Just like cut up cheese.
Yeah. So it's a cube of cheese. And they didn't bread it or anything. They just took the cube of cheese and they dropped that shit in a fryer. And it's just like brown fucking cheese. It's like, It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Because at first I'm thinking like it's battered. And it's not. It's just fried cheese. Like they dropped it in fucking batter.
Was it any good?
It actually wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. Like Mark ate like 2, and Mark just had a heart attack recently. So he's like, I think 2 is enough. I don't need any more, oil and fried shit around my arteries. He's like, you guys can have the rest. Arnie ate a couple, I ate a couple, but after I knew what I had coming at me, I'm like, I don't need any more fried shit either. I just ordered everything fried. Like, Like I ordered fried wings. I ordered fucking fried combo platter. So I don't know. Those were fine, but it was just funny how Mark just ordered the special. Didn't know what the fuck it was. So then she brings me out the combo platter. Doesn't bring me out the wings. Arnie gets the combo platter too. And well, actually at that point I didn't realize Arnie ordered the combo platter because I can't hear a fucking thing. So apparently he ordered the combo platter too, and I'm like, "You got the same thing?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Okay." I figured they bring the wings at the same time. So on this combo platter, it's literally everything you can think of on an appetizer menu: mozzarella sticks, jalapeno poppers, onion rings, French fries, fried mushrooms, fried cauliflower, fried. Oh fuck! Everything, dude. There's honestly, God, there's got to be 10 or 12 different things that they're all fried. They're all good. There's no way I didn't come close to eating it all. It's enough to like all three of us could have ordered one and been fine on it. But so I go through and I eat like a bunch of it, and I'm starting to get full, and I'm like, "Fuck, where are these wings? Like that's what I really wanted to eat. I wanted to eat the wings." Well, another like 5 minutes goes by, and the girl comes over, and she's like picking up dishes. And she's like, "Do you guys need anything?" I was like, "Well, we both ordered wings, so I don't know where they're at." She's like, "Oh, really? Oh, let me go check on it." She comes back like another 5 minutes later, and she's like, well, apparently he missed them on the ticket, so he's putting the wings down now. And I'm like, "You're good. You can just cancel my wings because I'm pretty full from this anyway, so don't worry about it." And she's like, "Okay." Well, like 5 minutes later, Arnie's wings come out, and mine don't. But she looks at me and she's like, "Yours are coming up in a minute." And I'm like, I said, I was like, "I said I don't want them, but okay, whatever. That's fine. I'll take them home." And so then it was like another 5 minutes goes by, and the fucking wings still haven't came. And I'm like, I'm ready to pay at this point. I'm like, whatever, it doesn't matter. And all of a sudden, she finally comes over and drops the wings down. And I go, "This is great. Could I just get a box though? Because I'm not hungry at this point." And she kind of stares at me like I was the scum of the earth. What the fuck is going on here? Like 45 minutes later, you finally bring me these wings. So she ends up bringing me a box. I had a couple of them, and it was just a whole thing. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I ordered 2 pounds of fried food. Mark ordered some fried ass cheese. My wings took 45 minutes. Like, this is a great start.
Oh, man.
The bright side, though, is I always play Keno whenever I'm at a bar like that if they have Keno. I'm not a big gambler. I don't go to the casino. I don't do that shit, right? But I played Keno. So I happened to have 5 singles in my pocket for whatever reason. They weren't even in my wallet. They were just chilling in my pocket. So I'm like, well, I guess I'm playing 5 games of Keno. Filled up my numbers, played it. Boom. I hit like 3 times and won like $60. I'm
nice.
Like, well, that's fucking sweet. That's a good start to the trip. But yeah, then we got back to camp, just kind of hung out and finished unpacking, kind of getting shit ready. Mark and I sat up till like 1 a.m, getting kind of fucked up, drinking whiskey, listening to music, listening to tunes. And then all of a sudden we're like, man, we should go to bed if we want to fish tomorrow. Thursday was supposed to be the best day of the fish. They were calling for like 65 degrees and calm winds. So Thursday morning was the plan was to go to Ogon's Bay, which it was right down the road from where we were staying. It was the closest boat launch, and we figured we would just give that a whirl. It's close. We did a lot. Mark and I did quite a bit of research a couple of weeks leading up to this trip, and both Little Bay to Knock and Big Bay to Knock are like known for huge pike, and that's what we really wanted to target was huge pike. And you know, there's a chance for muskie. You're fishing the Great Lakes, so like you can certainly catch a muskie. Looking at the master angler reports and shit for those 2 bays, like there's been lots of muskie that were master angler caught. There's tons of pike that have been caught that were 40 plus inches. So, and that's really what we wanted. We had some walleye stuff if we wanted to get into it. We weren't meat fishing. It was big pike. That's what we were throwing. That's the areas of the bays that we were fishing. Like that was the plan from all along. So I get up at like 7:30, get the coffee rolling, and we knew it was going to be chilly in the morning. So like we didn't set an alarm. Well, I asked Mark the night before. I was like, "Are we setting an alarm?" He's like, "Oh, fuck that. We're on vacation." I'm like, "All right, whatever. Not gonna get up super early." So I get up at like 7:30, get the coffee rolling, start kind of getting my gear ready. Went out and uncovered the boat. start putting some. It's literally right down the road, so started putting tackle bags in the boat, and I'm thinking like I'm making a bunch of noise. He's got to be up and moving by now. And I go back inside, and he's still fucking sawing logs in there. And I'm like, okay, by now it's 8:30 maybe. So I sit there playing my phone for a little bit. I called her dad, shot the shit with him for a little bit. Before I know it, it's about 9:30, and Mark's still sleeping. I'm like, this motherfucker's gonna sleep all day. Ended up going in there, started making a bunch of noise and shit, kicking stuff, like trying to wake him up. Like, let's go, dude. Outside of me, like going over and shaking his ass. Eventually, he kind of wakes up and starts moving around. And then I went outside and I was doing something, and Arnie was over at his cabin, and he yells out the window and he's like, "Hey, come on over. I got breakfast done." I'm like, okay. So go over to Arnie's. He's got a full breakfast cooked up for us. I'm like, what the fuck? He like cooked bacon. He cooked eggs. He had, oh God, what else did he make? Bacon, eggs, potatoes, a whole big fucking meal for us. I'm like, damn. Good way to start the day. Had breakfast. Didn't get on the water until about noon. I got up at like 7:30 thinking like, all right, we're going to get on the water, by 9 o'clock. Get on the water at like noon, which, about the worst time of day you can fish, but it's all good. But we get out there like noon, and just start motoring out of the launch there. And that's once we got out on the water, that's when I made the video that I posted. And you can see in the video, it's not bluebird skies, but it's pretty damn clear. There's a few clouds up there, sun shining, and it's like 65 degrees. And the water is flat calm. Like I had to use a trolling motor to move us around because there was no wind at all. It was like just ideal conditions. And that lasted for about 3 hours. And then all of a sudden, about 3 o'clock, the whole lake turned to shit. The wind picked up and it got nuts. But before that, everything I had read about Ogon's Bay was that Ogon's Bay had lots of weeds, lots of weed beds. That's what you want to target. Go to the north end of the bay, even at the mouth of the Ogon's River. So that's kind of what we did. We just kind of, at first we just kind of but I used a trolling motor and kind of headed towards the North Bay and just kind of zigzagged across, like looking for some type of weed bed that we could come across. In a bay like that, it's like St. Clair. Like you're going to have a weed bed that's going to be, it might be fucking half mile wide or the size of a football field, right?
Right.
And so I'm looking for that. I'm looking for the type of shit I see on St. Clair. And there's weeds all along the bottom, but it's literally just like an inch or two of weeds along the bottom. There's like very little weeds that are sticking up anywhere across like what we're covering here. And I'm like, this all kind of sucks. Like, yeah, there's weeds down there. There's not sand, but there's no weeds sticking up. Every now and then you see a couple coming up, and it's all about 5 feet of water. And I'm like, this kind of blows. So we just kept the trolling motor motoring towards the north. And I got to a point where I just kind of stopped and I was like, we got to do something different, man. We've been here for like an hour now, not finding any structure. So I got on the big motor and just started moving a little faster. Mark threw some lures out and just trolled for a little bit. And we motored right up to I want to get to the mouth of the Ogon's River. I figured fall time, fish are moving up into the rivers.
Oh, the bait fish start moving up into the rivers this time of year too.
And I have no idea what the mouth of the river looks like. I can look at it on a Google Earth and I'm like, yeah, there's the mouth of the river. It looks fine. There's some dark spots. Looks like there's deeper water. So I get up there and I get closer to the mouth, and when you get to up to the north end of Ogon's Bay, it all you see is reeds sticking out of the water, like the shit we used to see at Winya, and it's all reeds sticking out of the water. And I'm like, man, I wonder how deep that is, because if that's like 2 or 3 feet of water, reeds sticking out of the water, and they weren't like super thick. They were like, the reeds were sparse enough to where like you can cast in between the reeds, bring spinner baits right through them type thing. Like it was kind of ideal looking water. So we get up there, and the water is about 3 feet of water. That whole, I mean, this section of reeds along the whole North Shore, like it might be a half mile of these reeds. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, dude, this is looking good. This looks better. So we just started at one end of the reeds, and I just worked the trolling motor kind of along the edge, and we both just kind of picked it apart, thinking like there's got to be bass up in here, some big northerns just sitting in these reeds, right, just ambushing prey. And at the edge of the reeds is kind of a drop off. It kind of drops off into like 5 feet of water, even into 6 feet in some spots. So I'm like, this is like the perfect spot for what we're trying to fish for. We fished that whole stretch of reeds all the way to the mouth, and not a fucking single bite, not a bite, not a follow. Nothing.
I bet you in the spring though.
Oh
in
yeah,
the spring though, that would be money.
I wonder if those reeds are up though in the spring.
Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah, I don't know. But it like if you saw it, like Mark and I kept saying to each other, like, there's no way there's not fishing here. Like we're gonna catch a dandy out of here. There's just no way. This is way too good for us not to catch anything. And we go all the way through it, get right to the mouth, and there's just nothing. I'm like, fuck, dude, that's like, I'm so let down. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, it's like 1, 2 in the afternoon. It's not ideal conditions. The water was pretty clear, that section that we were fishing. So maybe it's just a combination of clear water and bright sunny day, and it's just not ideal condition. Maybe later tonight it'll be better. I don't know. So we get up into the mouth, and I'm moving into the mouth, and I'm thinking, like, all right, the mouth of the river's got to be a little bit deeper. I don't know how deep the Ogons River is. Well, it wasn't. It got to like 6 inches of water. I don't know how it didn't bottom the boat out, getting up into the mouth of the river.
The Ogon seems kind of deep as you go up farther. Like we've run into the Ogons, so that's part of the area we hunt.
Yeah,
and like we've walked along it, and you can see that it's narrow. Like it gets real tight. It's not a huge river, but like you could see that it looks like it's probably 3-4 feet deep, whatever it is, up in those areas a mile or two north of where you're talking.
Yeah.
So I don't like at the mouth. You would think it might be a little bit deeper, but apparently.
No. Well, part of the problem is you can see how low the water is up there, and looking at the shoreline, man, it looks like the water's 2 feet down. Like it looks really like drastically low. Because when we were motoring out from the boat launch, I'm in about a foot of water out of there. So I don't know. Are you clicking a pen?
Actually, yes. That's
weird. I keep hearing a clicking. And I'm like, what the fuck is that sound?
This fucking microphone. If I turn this mic up here, you can barely hear me. But if I turn it down here, you can hear me clicking this pen 5 feet away. Stupid.
Sorry, I don't know if the listeners can hear it, but I sure as fuck can.
You know what? Suck it up, all of you.
Anyway, so we get up in the mouth of the river, and it's like a foot of water maybe, and then there's a couple like little deep pockets that it drops into as you get right up into the river. And I was just getting ready to turn it around, and at this point, like Mark and I were throwing a lot of musky sized gear, big spinner baits, big swim baits, like no bulldogs or anything like that. But again, we're targeting big pikes, so we're throwing bigger lures. And it got to the point after like, at this point, you've probably gone 2 hours. I haven't caught a fish or seen a fish. So I threw on just the old white and red spinner bait. I'm like, fuck it, something's got to bite this. 2 casts after I start fishing this lure up right in the mouth. I cast it to the point where I'm actually casting up into the river system, which is, at that point, it's only 10 feet wide. It's super narrow. Like I wouldn't even think about taking the boat up there. I don't know how deep it was, but 2 casts into there, wham, hook into a northern. Maybe 24, 25 inches, not anything huge, but at least it's a fish, right? It's in the boat. I'm like, all right, that's a good sign. That's a good sign. But it was so shallow, and at that point where the mouth of the river was, dude, it was like chocolate milk. It was crazy.
That should have been like the tactic that you guys switched to first was downsizing gear, like. If you went an hour or so and you're throwing like big, you're chucking big shit out there, and you're not really connecting with anything, especially big pike, like just downsize to like normal 1 ounce daredevils and into like your normal bass sized spinner baits, and see if you can connect with pike then. And if you can, then start upgrading from there, right? Like once you tie into pike, like. That would have been my my armchair quarterback of your first outing here would have been. I'm gonna downsize.
This coming from the guy who throws musky all weekend at Whitney.
I honestly do. Like in the springtime, don't throw big. In the springtime, throw small.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy that just throws big all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was, like I said, I wasn't throwing anything crazy big. Like just, the spinner baits I'm throwing. Like they're just oversized, like 1 ounce spinner baits. They're not like massive, huge musky ones. We're not throwing Poseidons and throwing bulldogs and Medusas or anything like that. Although I did throw a bulldog at one point. I just got bored and I just started chucking a bulldog around. But anyway, so we motor out of. I just kind of motored us out of there because it was just getting too shallow, and I kept that spinnerbait on, and I'm like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna chuck this around." And we get out of the river or out of the Ogons River, like kind of mouth area where it is, get away from those reeds. And the wind's starting to pick up a little bit now, but it's on a pretty good line where it's going to blow us along the shore. And I'm looking at my Navionics, and again, we haven't fished this water ever before, so I don't know what this shit's going to look like. But it looks like this whole northern shore of Ogons Bay goes from like a foot or two of water, and it drops down, like the whole edge. So I told Mark, I said, let's just work this edge down for a little bit and just see what it looks like. And the wind's kind of blowing us perfect where we can get a good drift and come right across this. So that's what we do. And we get about, I don't know, hard trying to think distance. Like we went about 15 minutes of drifting east of the Ogons River. And all of a sudden we start seeing really good weeds down there. We're in about 4 feet of water. And we're like, oh shit, we got some weeds down here now. Actually like weed growth, not shit on the bottom. And as we get farther and farther, all of a sudden, like it's like damn near weeds to the surface. It's like, man, this is starting to look pretty good. And so I started switching lures and just changing tactics a little bit. And I put on a big musky spinnerbait. And I start chucking it. So Mark's chucking along the drop off. I'm chucking on the deeper water. And I'm like, fuck it, we're just covering water at this point. I start bringing in. And I feel like a good thump, and I'm like, oh, "Fuck!" I'm casting deeper water. Like I'm like, "Oh, that felt good." And all of a sudden, I'm just slow rolling it, and I'm bringing it like right along the boat, and I don't even see this thing, but a huge fucking northern is trailing this thing. Like, honest to God, I thought it was a log at some point when I saw it, because I'm just barely like blades are barely flopping. I'm like we bring it up to the boat, and we kind of do that L. Bringing it by the boat. I'm just like slow rolling this motherfucker, just getting the blade just barely flopping. And I see this log and I'm like staring at it, like, what the fuck is that? And all of a sudden it just kind of turns and kicks once. And I don't know how big it was. It's hard to tell in the water, but this thing had shoulders on that fucking thing. Like I would not be surprised to say this thing was mid 30s or higher.
49 inches.
Could have been an 87 inch. 80. I don't know. It was a good sized northern. It might have only been 30 when you actually got it out of the water, but like I got a pretty good look at it and I'm like, it's pretty fucking good fish, whatever that was. Like it was good. I would probably realistically say mid 30s. Like it was good fish.
So they're there.
Yeah. So then we kind of finished the drift and all of a sudden it turns to sand, like just straight moon. All the weeds disappear. And the whole time, like Mark was down there watching my graph on the console, which has got like the better imaging. And he's just down there making waypoints, like marking as we're drifting across this weed line, just making waypoints just so we know like how far this weed bed extends. So, and once we got past the weeds and I got to where it was all moon, we kind of re-game plan and said, all right, well, what do we do now? Went back and checked the chart. And I'm like, holy fuck, that's a big section of water we just covered where these weeds were. We only saw the one fish. So we motored back and we did another kind of partial drift through it and just kind of moved ourselves out a little bit deeper, saw the same type of weeds and just kept weighing lay points at that point. And at that point, it's starting to get a lot windier. And it's getting to the point where I'm like, this is not fun. and the wind shifted. And now the wind is blowing, it's coming directly out of the south. And it's just straight blowing me into shore. So I'm trying to use my trolling motor and work across the grain, which you know how that is. It's fucking impossible.
Yeah, it's not fun.
I've got it on auto.
Captain. You can't cast much.
I've got it on autopilot, but like the way the wind's blowing us, all it does is it ends up turning the boat just into the wind, trying to recalibrate and get it set up. And it just got to the point where I told Mark, I said, let's get the fuck out of here because I can't fish right here. Like it got to the point where I would just spot lock. We'd cast for a little bit, and then I'd move us down with the trolling motor. I'd spot lock. We'd cast because I couldn't do it. The wind was like, we got like 2-foot waves now, and it's just fucking impossible. So Arnie was telling us that there's an island there right at the kind of the entrance of Ogon's Bay, and he said that that's always a hot spot for walleye and stuff like that. And I told Mark, I said, let's run to the island. It's into the wind. I said, but then we can drift back into the bay. Let's just see what it looks like. Let me just take a break for being on the front of the boat, because when it's wavy out there, dude, and you're in the front of the boat, like I'm coming up like 2-3 feet and then coming down like 2-3 feet. Like it's like a 6-foot ride I'm taking. And in the back of the boat, Mark's like, it's not rough at all. He's not even moving. He's just staying in the same spot. And I'm like riding a fucking bull. And so we kind of we wrap everything up, and Mark's like, well, let's troll for a little bit. So we do that. We troll, and I just kind of point us towards this island. And we trolled for like 20 minutes, and I got bored out of my gourd. We got out of those weeds, and at that point, we're just crossing this bay, and it's just moon. It's just sand everywhere. And I'm like, let's go.
What was the depth like out there? Like out in the middle of that bay? In
the middle of the bay, we hit some like 7 to 10 foot spots. And I'm like, so I'm driving. I think I just put on a Daredevil off one side, and Mark had 2 poles going off, one off the back and one off the other side. And so he's running like he's got a mixture. He put on like a walleye crankbait, and then he's running a pike crankbait, and I'm running a Daredevil, and like we were just changing some lures up, and I'm just watching the side scan, and I'm looking for these weed beds. I'm hoping, like, I've got my side scan to shoot 100 feet off each side, and I'm hoping I come across another one of these weed beds, and I can start marking it, and then we can come back and kind of drift past it and hit it. Like that's in my head, that's how this is going to work out. We're going to troll around. I'm going to mark all these weed beds. We're going to find some hot spots. Like, right. We went like, dude, we trolled for like an hour and didn't mark one fucking weed in that whole bay.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of that's like the tactic on new water, especially big water like that. Like, are you talking Ogon's Bay? If you guys don't know what Ogon's Bay is, like, look at Little Bay and Big Bay to knock, and Ogon's Bay is part of Big Bay to knock, and it is fucking massive. Yeah. Like miles. Like you can see across it, but at the same time, it is like fishing.
It's like fishing
Lance Bay. It's like fishing Lance Bay or fishing like
Anchor Bay. Honestly,
like Anchor Bay. Yeah, like it's fucking massive. So like. That would be probably my tactic too. Would be like, you know, try to target like individual weed beds that you can find probably closer to shore, towards the mouth. I would have went to the mouth of the river, and then like after that, like if you're going to pick something out in the bay, like you just troll until you can, because you can't. If you motor really fast, you're not going to be able to see it. You're not going to be able to find the weeds that you want. So, like, trolling is a good tactic. One, you got lures in the water, so you're covering ground. There's a possibility that you can connect with fish. But two, like, it allows you to be able to like watch your graphs and watch your electronics to be able to see what the fuck is happening in that stretch. Like, it would take that body of water. It would probably take you a full week. Of fishing to really map it out, to really understand it, and to really dial down, all right, this is how we need to attack this weed bed or this, you know, in that whole bay this time of year. Maybe you might only have 1 or 2 really big weed beds like that you want to cover, right? Because the fish are naturally going to gravitate to the weeds, or it's going to be like that warmer water that's coming out of the rivers. So like like the river, like any tributary coming into the Ogons, that's what I would have hit. So Ogons River or any small creeks that I can find on a map, I would have probably tried to hit those first. And then after that, like you're just trolling, you're just fucking Hansel and Greteling across it. But you guys had the right tactic.
I mean, we felt like we were doing everything right. It just wasn't working out. And so it got to a point where I've got fishing ADD, man. Like I can't fucking bobber fish. I have a hard time jig fishing because I get so fucking bored if I'm not covering water or like casting or doing something. So after like do it. I did do like something really cool. I got sick of. All right, I'm trying to keep the heading towards this island, right? And I'm trolling, and we're only trolling about 3 miles per hour. I picked it up a couple times. Just to speed up, just try and change the tactic a little bit. But I got sick of just standing there steering. And I'm like, you know what? I always see motherfuckers take their trolling motor and they put their trolling motor in the water and they use that to steer it. So I'm like, well, I'm gonna fucking try it. I'm in a big body of water. I'm in 10 feet of water. I'm not worried about hitting anything. So I put my trolling motor down and I put like the autopilot on to point me at the island, put it on like speed 4, and I just put the big motor just right in the middle, like aimed dead straight. And I was like, oh, see what it does. And that fucking trolling motor kept me perfectly straight. I didn't have to touch anything. I didn't touch the steering wheel. We went like a half mile like that, and the trolling motor was keeping me on the heading that I needed. The big motor was just pointed straight. I'm like, well, this is fucking slick. Okay.
Did you just have the big motor in gear, or did you have that like still at whatever RPMs to keep?
I gave it a little bit more because if it was just in gear, I was trolling about like 2.3, 2.4, and I wanted it a little bit faster for pike. So I gave it just enough to where, again, we're going into the waves at 3 miles per hour, but with the waves coming back, it's probably a little faster, like that we're actually covering water, like per the way the water's flowing. So that was cool. That was a cool thing that I kind of not learned how to do, but the first time I've ever practiced with that, because I don't do trolling. I don't fucking mess with that. But it was like, this is pretty slick. Like, it just keep me on this heading. And I just sat back and just kind of sat in the chair with my pocket, played on my phone for a little bit. Got caught up on text messages because that was the only spot I had signal. I had five bars of 5G out on the water and 1 bar of bullshit at camp. So I was able to send that video and do some other shit while the trolling motor was steering me. So it was pretty cool. But anyways, we got to a point where we were both like, fuck this. We're not getting anything. We're not even marking fish, marking weeds. I told him, I said, wrap it up. Let's head up to the island. And like, it's getting windier and windier at this point. I'm like, and the waves are going up and down. And I'm like, fuck this. So we wrap everything up. And the island at this point, it's probably 3 miles away still. Like, it's not close. It's a fucking hike from where we're at after all this time of trolling. So I gave her the juice and got up on plane. And it was the first time I've ever been able to really run that boat wide open. Not that I was wide open, but just to fucking cruise with it. Because every time I fish, I'm fishing small inland lakes around here, up at Whitetail where I don't motor on plane. So, dude, it was so nice to get that fucker on plane, trim it up, and just kind of just ride the waves and go for like 2-3 miles of just open water. Like, it was fun. I get closer.
Good break-in period. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm well past the break-in period now, but I finally got some hours on my motor this weekend, if anything. But so we get up closer to the island and I slow it down because I see on the Navionics that it starts to get a little bit shallower. And I'm like, I don't want to trust Navionics. So I'm just going to slow down. So my depth or my Lowrance is a little fucked up. Like, if I'm going too fast, I lose all my graphs. Like, it doesn't give me any depth if I go over a certain speed. Like, I've got to adjust
too. Yeah.
I got to adjust something so I don't lose the signal. I haven't figured it out. So without being able to see the depth, I'm like, all right, I'm going to slow it down. And so I slow it down and we're in about 12 feet of water. And all of a sudden, like, as the graph starts catching up and picking up, I start seeing these massive weeds down there. And I'm like, oh shit, look at this, Mark. And it's about 12 feet of water. And we're just be the north end of that island, the whole north side of that island. And by now, like, the wind's coming out of the south. So it's kind of blocking a lot of the wind. So it's a lot calmer where we're at. And I'm looking at the graph and it's about 12, 13 feet of water and about 5 to 6 feet of weeds off the bottom. I'm like, well, this is fucking sweet. So we just kept motoring. I was like, well, I'm going to keep taking this up closer to shore. Let's see how big this weed bed is. And I'm making waypoints as I'm going. And I went all the way up to about 8 feet. And then all of a sudden it just switches right to moon and it comes right up to like 5 feet of water right when you get pretty, not close, but a couple hundred yards from that island. It just drops right off into these massive weeds. And I'm like, well, let's start here. So we do a drift through there. Nothing. Not a single fish moved. And I'm thinking, man, we're throwing right over top 12 feet of water, 6 feet of weeds. Like, there's got to be fish in here. There's no reason to not have fish in here. So we drifted. And again, like, this is a huge ass weed bed. Like, we drifted for probably a half hour, 45 minutes before we got to the point where we started seeing the weeds get less and less. So we do that like 4 times. We go through, we drift this whole weed bed, motor back up to the island, but I'm moving myself over a little bit. So I'm not doing the same drift. That way I'm covering it. And as I'm doing it, we're placing waypoints to keep marking like these weed beds. And we keep doing that. And I do it probably 5 drifts total through this weed bed. And the whole time, like, I'm marking weeds, this whole thing. This thing, I don't know how big this weed bed's got to be, but it's got to be 5 football fields wide by 5 football fields deep. Like, it's just insane size of this weed bed. And it's all the same thing, 10 to 12 feet of water, weeds about halfway through the water column. No reason you shouldn't have fish in there. Like, we started chucking walleye baits. I'm throwing a fucking hot and tot. I'm throwing bombers. I'm trying to catch a walleye of any sort. Nothing. Like, what in the fuck is going on? It's just the stars weren't aligning for us. We did that until it was getting close to dark. It was probably 5:30. And after we did that last drift, I told Mark, I said, well, this isn't cutting it. The fish aren't here. This is a great looking spot. We've got it marked. We'll come back to it for sure. But I said, we got about an hour and a half of daylight. I said, what do we do? And Mark's like, let's run back up to the weed bed. And that same weed bed that we hit on the north end of the bay. I'm like, all right, waves are going that way. It'll be a nice smooth ride. Got her up on plane and fucking motored back down there. Drove another like 4 miles on the boat all the way back up to the north end of the bay. And set up on that same weed bed. And by the time I made it up there, 4 miles takes you a while to fucking get up, probably a 20-minute drive. And get up in there, and it's like maybe 5 casts in of this first drift, my trolling motor's starting to fuck up. And I'm like, what the fuck's going on with this thing? Like, I go to hit the button, I've got the Ultera, so I can press buttons and that fucker will, I can raise it and lower it. I don't have to adjust a knob or anything like that. I can just raise and lower it. And when I hit some of those buttons, it's not working right. And then when I'm using the pedal to turn it left and right, sometimes when I press the pedal down, back where it would turn it left, all of a sudden it hits the button that raises the motor and stows it. And I've got to stop it. And the whole thing's acting funky. And I'm trying to fight the waves at the same time of fucking with this. And then all of a sudden, the pedal starts making a clicking sound as I'm moving the pedal forward to the right. I'm like, what the fuck is up with this thing? And so I'm messing with it. And I just, at some point, it doesn't change, but I've got it kind of figured out of how I can keep working along this weed bed. And all of a sudden I cast, and I'm kind of I'm at the same time, I'm staring down at my foot pedal and I'm not paying attention. And I'm reeling and not paying attention. And all of a sudden, it's like a freight train hits my fucking lure. And it felt like it about ripped it out of my fucking hand, mainly just because I wasn't paying attention. And we'd gone so long without any hits. It's I'm not expecting a hit. So I'm just kind of nonchalantly being lackadaisical about it. And all of a sudden, wham. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And this thing hit. You know how Pike hits sometimes. He fucking clobbered it. Yeah. Starts pulling drag out. And I've got that same white and red spinnerbait on. Because and it's that quantum reel that I've got, and it doesn't have a strong drag. I've got that drag fucking cinched down, and it's still pulling drag. And I'm like, oh shit, what do I got here? And all of a sudden it comes up, and and we're in shallow water, so it starts fucking kicking its tail. And Mark's like, what the fuck is that? He grabs the net. And I'm fighting it, and it's still pulling line. It was a great fight. And it got it up to the boat, and I could see that it was a really nice northern, and it was fucking thick. And that was the one that I sent you guys. And we caught it right before dark. So as soon as as I'm fighting it, I'm trying we're kind of blowing into shore. So I hit the spot lock button on my foot pedal, and it doesn't work. And I'm like, and I'm trying to fight the fish at the same time of doing this. And eventually I just give up on the foot pedal, and I just fight the fish. And finally we get the fish in the net, and I take a deep breath, and I'm looking at the pedal, and I still can't get spot lock to go. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? So I just I turn the autopilot, just facing it right into the wind. And I turn it on 6, just enough to keep us pointed away from shore, because the waves are blowing us right into shore, just to keep us blowing out away from shore. And I figured 6 is enough to at least hold us steady or keep us moving away from shore. So I do that. We fuck with the fish, take pictures. Ended up being 32 and a half or something like that, I think is what it was. But this fucker was fat. And Mark actually had a scale on his little grippers thing that he had hooked up on. And that fucker was almost 10 pounds.
Nice.
He's a fat 32-inch northern. He was a healthy fish. So great fight and everything like that. So take some pictures, get a measurement, throw back in the water, takes off good. And then I start fucking with my trolling motor. And I'm like, what is up with this motherfucker? So then I go And I'm trying to do spot lock. It's not working. And then I'm like, I just try to shut it off and just to like hit the button, the constant button, and it doesn't shut off. I'm like, what the fuck is that? The whole thing was like going crazy.
I would have shut it down and like restarted it and disconnected shit.
So I did that. I shut it down, restarted it, and as soon as I restarted it, the motor just starts going. The only way I could get the motor turned down is if I turned it down to 0. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I was like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this right now. So I grabbed my, I don't normally keep the little handheld fob with me. So I just kind of grabbed it. I had it in my glove box. I grabbed it and I started controlling it with that. And I can control it left and right, but I can't adjust the speed because it's like locked and something in the pedal was like shorting out or fucked up to where it wouldn't change the speed. So I just tried to spot lock it. It wouldn't let me spot lock it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So I ran up front and I disconnected the foot pedal and it still wouldn't let me spot lock it. I'm like, oh my God, we're going to die out here. What the fuck, man? So I ended up I left the pedal unplugged, shut the trolling motor off, left it off for about 15 seconds. And I actually fired up the big motor because I'm like, if this doesn't work, we're getting blown into shore. I'm going to have to motor us away. Turn the trolling motor back on, reconnect the handheld, and it starts working. I can spot lock. I can do everything. I'm like, okay.
Like every other electronic device on Earth, like when it starts fucking acting stupid, just shut it all off, disconnect some shit. But I have to do that stuff on the daily almost.
That whole first day was a shit show, but then this starts happening right as you hook into a fish, right as I'm getting blown into shore. Like it couldn't have happened when I'm motoring across the lake, when I'm in the middle of, the bay and I have ample time to fuck around with it. No, it's got to be as I'm getting blown into shore.
Jeez.
But yeah. But anyways, great fish. That was the big fish of the weekends, what it ended up being. But it gave us a better feeling as we got done with it because we were like, all right, the day kind of sucked, but that's a nice ass fish. We know there's bigger ones in here. I saw one that was, I still think was bigger than that one, and it wasn't at all where I caught that fish. It was much farther down where I ended up seeing that other fish from earlier. But yeah, so by the time we got done fucking with all that, it's getting pretty dark, and I know we've got like a 3-mile run probably back to the boat launch. So I told Mark, I said, well, let's wrap it up and let's at least get closer to the boat launch. So we get back by the time I made it back to the boat launch, it's fucking pitch dark. Yeah. Like we're using headlamps to get into the canal to get back to the boat launch. It was kind of a nightmare. I didn't want to wait that late. But all in all, everything else worked fine. And, got back to camp and Arnie had dinner all cooked for us and drank a bunch of beers and celebrated. At the end of the day, we kind of saw it as a successful night because we knew the first night was going to be just figure shit out, get a lay of the land, maybe mark some stuff, catch a couple fish, whatever. We only caught 2 fish, but, all in all, solid day. Great weather at the start, and then it got windy and got fucked up. So then Friday, our plan was originally we were thinking, let's go over to Dollarville. But then the more Mark and I were talking, and alcohol probably influenced us a little bit, but we're sitting around and Mark's like, man, I really like some of those spots we found on Ogon's. Like, I think we give that another whirl. I'm like, looking at the wind, it's going to be like 10 to 15 out of the south. And I'm like, that's probably what we dealt with yesterday. Like, all right, whatever. Let's give it a go. So Thursday night, it rained. So we cover the boat up. It rains from like 10 o'clock to like 6 in the morning, right? So we didn't plan on getting up early again or anything like that. So we got out about the same time, about noon, and didn't cook breakfast or anything like that. But we just slept in, took our time. We knew that we were going to go back to Ogon just to give it another whirl. We weren't going to drive out to Dollarville. We're not in a rush or anything. So get in the truck and start driving down the roads. All the roads are dirt roads, and whatever the fuck they used to put on the roads, it's like this limestone clay hell that they have. It's like soup, like to the point where like my truck is sliding back and forth. It's that sloppy, and I've only got to go 4 or 5 miles down the road. So I'm just crawling. Like I'm going 10 or 15 miles per hour because I'm like, man, this boat's going to get wrecked behind me. I don't have mud flaps or anything like that. And I'm watching it in my mirrors the whole time as we're driving, and I'm just watching mud splatter the side of the boat, my windshield. I'm like, motherfucker, like, this is going to piss me off. By the time we made it to the boat launch, well, I sent you pictures of it. The boat was just destroyed. Like, I knew the bottom of it's going to get washed off as we go through the water, right? But the sides of it, the windshield, the whole top, like, what is it called? Gunnel rail, whatever. That's all fucking covered in mud. I'm like, oh man, my truck I don't really give a shit about at that point. Because I'm like, whatever, I can wash the truck. And I'm like, whatever. So we get out there, back out on the bay, and we pretty much head right towards that north weed bed. We didn't fuck around. We went, now that we had waypoints, we went right to that north weed bed. We get up in there, and it's like 2 casts in, Mark catches a pike, like a 24, 25 incher. And I'm like, all right, now we're cooking. We found some fish. We connected right away. Now I feel like we know what the fuck we're doing. But it's windy as fuck already. Like, it was windy the time we're motoring out, because we got out there like noon. Wind had already picked up, and it's already rough as fuck. And the way the wind is blowing, it's blowing out of the south into the north. So working the whole north shoreline was going to be next to impossible. Trying to use the boat and use a trolling motor and get us across, like, from west to east. I'm like, oh fuck, this is going to suck. So at one point I just spot lock, and I'm like, fish for a little bit, Mark. I got to wash my boat. I can't take this shit. So I found like a microfiber towel that I had in my glove box, and I started like dipping the towel into the water, and I'm washing the windshield and shit, which is just smearing this fucking clay bullshit all over my fucking windshield. I'm washing the gunnel rail, and it's just like, I don't know what the fuck they put on their roads, man. It's like this hardened nonsense. Like, I have to, like, this shit just hit my boat an hour to an hour and a half before I'm doing this, and it's hardened like rock. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? It's like I'm scrubbing it to try to get it off the boat. Like, and so I did one whole side, and it took me probably 15, 20 minutes just to wipe down the one whole side. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to do the other side right now. Kind of gave up on it. I never ended up doing the other side, but I just couldn't sit there and fish and look at just mud splattered all over my windshield. I couldn't even see out the windshield when we were driving across the lake. So I ended up doing the driver's side just so I could at least see out my windshield. But yeah, so we pretty much beat the shit out of that weed bed for like 3 hours. We went back and forth over that weed bed, mark out that one fish, and we never saw another fish. And we ended up taking that shoreline a lot farther on the second day just to kind of fuck around and do some exploring. But the wind got so bad, dude, that like it was probably 3-footers, if not even bigger, to the point where like, and I'm trying to go across the wave. So it's like, it's rocking like this. And try to stand in a boat and cast and control trolling motor. Good fucking luck.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And even Mark was back there. He's like holding on like this. So we got to a point where I said, fuck it, let's go troll again because I got to get out of this. Like, I'm going to puke. I'm not even getting seasickness, but like if we do this long enough, I'm going to get sick. So we switched back to trolling and just kind of I just started heading north, but I was like, in my head, I'm thinking, Mark was originally talking like, let's go back to that island. But I'm like, man, I don't want to go that fucking far out because these waves are brutal here. It's going to be even worse out there. It'd be better at the island, but getting to the island is going to be a nightmare. So I'm like kind of cutting the corner and going back to the boat launch, which is on to my right, like the west shoreline. So I'm just like slowly cutting because you can't go across the wave. So I'm like going north, but I'm just slowly, gradually, just like inching my way over to that boat launch. Because in my head, I'm thinking, I'm done with this shit. I don't care what Mark says. I'm getting off this water because I can't fucking fish in this. It's driving me nuts. So we get up closer to the boat launch, and all of a sudden I see all these reeds that are just, it'd be just south of the boat launch. And just south of the boat launch, there's a big point that sticks out. And that was blocking a lot of the wind. So I'm like, well, fuck, maybe if we get up there, we'll get blocked by the wind and I'll see what those reeds look like. So we get up there, and sure enough, like the wind was still windy, but it was like just waves on the water. It was like ripples on the water. It wasn't enough to move you around, but not enough to where it was even rocking you. But all the same reeds that we saw the day before, it's all like 3 feet of water and a drop off right next to the reeds. and good reeds that you can cast up into and bring spinnerbaits right through. So I'm like, this is money. This has got to be a good spot. So we drift the whole fucking reed line down to the boat launch, and I did hook into a couple fish. So I'm throwing a spinnerbait, hook into a fish, and I wasn't using a trailer hook. I don't know why. Like even that big fish that I caught, I didn't have a trailer hook on. I just didn't run a trailer hook on that. But so I hooked into a fish in it. He ended up popping off. Never got to look at it. It didn't feel overly big, but at least hooked into a fish. And then it went a little bit farther, didn't catch anything. So I switched to a red and white daredevil. It's like 2 casts with a red and white daredevil. Wham, hook into a fish, fucking lost it. I'm like, this is my day. I ended up losing 3 fish that day. Never caught anything that day, but and then we went past the boat launch where the canal is, and as like we're getting up to the boat launch, and like the whole way north of the boat launch, remember we're drifting south to north, the whole north end of the boat launch on the west side, it's all these reeds again. And I didn't even notice it when we were motoring out because like we were just thinking out in the big water. So this whole side is all those same reeds. And I'm like, well, fuck, let's just keep taking this down because we're out of the wind. I can fish it. I'm not miserable. So we fished that entire west side of the bay, all the way down to the north end again. Same water, good reeds. Actually found some weed growth on the bottom. Mark ended up catching a fish kind of towards the end of it. He caught the second fish of the day. After all that water we covered, we put 2 fish in the boat.
Damn.
Like, what the fuck?
Damn.
Kind of a nightmare of a day. The wind just beat the shit out of us. But what I wanted to bring up earlier, that white spinnerbait that I was throwing, I threw that fucker like all day, and I had a little red Mr. Twister on it, which I typically use a lot, but I wasn't getting any action on it. And I switched that fucker out right before I hooked into that big one to that Case Plastics magic or Swim Magic, it's called, which is basically a Kitech with it's not that it is Kitech, but it looks like it's a rib shad, and I typically like those on my spinner baits. And this isn't like, yeah, I'm plugging our sponsor, but I legitimately put this on my spinner bait. It was just a white Case Plastics Swim Magic. Put that on there, and that's what I hooked that fish with. So I'm going to say that's the only reason I caught that fish.
It might be the only reason.
It might, honestly, because it makes it a much bigger profile. Like that little twister tail gives you about 1.5 inches of wiggle off the back. But that Case Plastics, it was like a 4.5 inch shad. So like once you put it on the hook, like that fucker makes the profile a lot bigger and it gives it a lot more action. So I ended up catching a few more fish on it throughout the weekend. But
I found with spinner baits, like I love using like those big Kalins.
Yeah.
Like
it's kind of like a Kalin. Oh, you're talking the big Mogambos?
Well, I use the Mogambos for like my bigger shit for like most of my musky stuff, and actually I use the 8-inch Mogambos for like attached to like a 3/4 ounce like swim jig head, and that's a great swim jig. Like it's just a Mogambo grub with that 3/4 ounce jig head, and I caught quite a few fish in the spring using just that, but it's super easy to fish. Like I really like how versatile it is. Like it's fun to fish
it through some shit too.
Yeah, you can fish it through shit. You got one single hook off of it, which that's kind of the drawback is that you have just that jig head to be able to hook up with any fish. So like that fish has to engulf it. Like it really has to smack it. And so I found that like I caught some of my bigger fish using that.
Yeah,
like a white Mogumbo with a white 3/4 ounce like Strike King jig, like swim jig head or whatever. But like even like I like using the Mogumbos, like the 4-inch like Mogumbo grubs. I put on my spinner baits and stuff. Yeah. So I was gonna say like when we went up to West Point Shores, or we went up to Winya with my wife, we were fishing all the shit, right? Like all the normal spring shit. Like I'm really geared for one fucking fishing trip. That's like all I got. That's the extent of my knowledge, So I started like adjusting, and as we started throwing spinner baits, like, my wife, she's pretty good at casting like a bait caster and stuff like that, but like she kept like with a Terminator spinnerbait, like it would get like messed up, from her not taking the slack out of it before it hits the water and stuff like that. So I switched her over to a Strike King with an enclosed. It was a Strike King, white Strike King spinnerbait that had like a enclosed wire on it. So the wire frame on it has that loop on it where it's enclosed and not open like most spinnerbaits are. So I put the Strike King spinnerbait on there. That was it, man. That was the fucking ticket. Like, I switched to one myself. I actually switched out a blade. I took off the willow the willow blade off of the one that I had because I felt that it was too small, and I put a bigger red willow blade on it. Man, I caught so many fucking fish over the weekend on that one lure. And eventually I took it off and I gave it to my wife because my wife wasn't catching shit. I was like, here's the magic lure. I put it on hers and she winds up catching the fish like immediately afterwards. I was like, see, I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
But it was like, and then I put the same thing on for Tom. At one point, we're all throwing three of us are throwing Strike King white spinnerbaits.
Hey, you probably all caught fish on it.
And we did, yeah. Like
when times are tough, everything will eat a white spinnerbait. I don't care what anybody fucking says or what body of water you're in. When times are tough, throw a fucking white spinnerbait.
But it
works.
But it wasn't the Terminator. The Terminator spinnerbait.
It don't matter. I
wasn't connecting with it. It was like that bigger, like that slightly bigger profile because I tipped it with a Kalen or I tipped it with whatever I put on there. Was like it was just the right combination of accessories to the spinnerbait.
Mark kind of opened my eyes this weekend because Mark is like, he's the spinnerbait king, man. Like, that fucking dude knows how to fish a spinnerbait. He's got a whole box of spinnerbait blades. So, like, when something's not hitting, he doesn't change the lure. He takes the fucking blade off and he'll go from a willow to a Colorado or a Colorado to a Indiana and he'll change color. He'll change size. Like, he'll go from a real big willow blade to a small willow blade. And I'm like, this motherfucker knows what's up.
Yeah.
He knows how to fish, man. That's a true, like, that dude, I mean, again, we've said it before, Mark's taught me and you probably so much shit over the years, but that
probably
like
90% of what we know about fishing, we probably learned from that dude.
Probably, yeah.
That was the kind of same shit that I was doing was at one point, like, I felt like we were all fishing the same bait, right? So like a very similar bait. I was like, all right, I'm going to switch this up a little bit because we're just not hitting anything right in the moment. So I switched to, I have another white spinnerbait that's got a big ass Colorado blade on it. I have a couple other ones that have smaller Colorado blades on it. I was like, I'm going to throw the big one first and see how that goes and then kind of work my way down if I have to. I throw that big one on. And it was honestly, it was right after I switched that bait over to my wife. I gave her the one I was catching all the fish on. I hand that over to her, clip it on. She starts casting it. She doesn't catch anything the first few casts. I switch over to a big-ass Colorado blade white spinnerbait. I throw it out there, wham, catch a fish on like the next cast. She's like, what the fuck? I was like, I don't know. I'm just fucking fishing.
Yeah, it's all in how you work your bait, man. Work your bait. But anyway, so yeah, that Case Plastic swim magic, man, that I firmly think that like that was the difference maker, just changing that profile. But all in all, like a good second day out on the water. Like we expected a little bit better results, but again, the wind I don't think helped us. We had a lot of cloud cover though. Like it was cloudy all day on Friday, so we were thinking that maybe that would help us, having clouds, not having bluebird skies, but it really wasn't. I guess we did connect with more fish because I lost like 3 or 4 fish. Mark lost a couple fish. We had more follows, so we did connect with more fish, but no big ones. Like we're hunting. We were hunting big 40-inch northern. That was our goal, put a 40-inch northern in the boat. And it didn't happen the second day, but got back to camp and just re-game plan. And the weather was looking pretty good, but they were talking wind again. But we decided to fish Little Bay to knock and change it up and just do something different. We wanted a new body of water. Dollarville, it was like, man, I'd hate to drive all the way to Dollarville and the wind be fucked up and it'd just be, a shitty day. And the wind, like there was a chance of rain, and I was like, yeah, let's just do Little Bay. So we headed into Rapid River, and we launch out of Rapid River, which is the very northernmost point in Little Bay to Knock. And we go and we get into the launch, and like that whole area, like you have the Rapid River that flows in, and then you have the Whitefish River that flows in. And it's two rivers that kind of like loop around, and they connect into one like big bay area, and then they go out and they kind of zigzag into where Little Bay is a lot smaller than Ogon's Bay or Big Bay. It's significantly smaller. If you look at it on a map, there's all kinds of like points and coves and shit like that. Lots of places that you can get out of the wind. It's actually really freaking nice. But when we first launched, like we see all these connecting rivers. I kind of had an idea just from like studying the navionics and looking at what some of those depths were. And I told Mark, I said, let's give this a go. Let's give this a go and just see what it looks like, right? So, anyway, so we launch out of the Rapid River launch, which is the northernmost part of the bay, and I had already been kind of studying the navionics a little bit, so I knew that there was it was good looking water right there in that northern bay where the Whitefish River flows in, meets the Rapid River, and there's like kind of a big, not big bay, but it's just kind of like a cove-ish area, and it all on navionics looks like it's about 10 feet. Kind of a good drop off, and that's what it was. Like it was weeds on the side, some reeds and stuff we could cast through, and it drops off, and there was good solid weeds there, like good weed growth. And I mean, within 30 minutes of us fishing this stuff, I didn't fire the big motor when we first got out there because I don't know the water, I don't know how shallow it is. So I'm like, fuck it, let's just run the trolling motor around, get a lay of the land, and connect with the fish. Like 30 minutes later, I actually connected with like 2 fish all right off the bat. Boom, boom. And which is a good start. They're not anything of any size, mid-20s. Maybe one was even like a hammer handle. I don't really remember, but got some fish in the boat, which either way felt good. And then we start moving right into the mouth of the Whitefish River, which started to get real shallow, but Whitefish River is just east of Rapid River. And we got pretty far up into the river before it got real shallow, but right at the mouth of it, like, again, it all looked fucking great water. Like, if you saw this shit, Bob, you'd be like, what the, like, there's no way we're not catching fish in this stuff. That's what Mark and I just kept saying the whole time. Where the hell are the fish? There's no way they're not here. I'm switching spinner baits. I switched to a Colorado blade. And the first cast with a Colorado blade, I catch a nice largemouth, like, I don't know, maybe a 3-pounder or so. Like, just, it's a good fat largemouth. I'm like, okay. Maybe it's a Colorado blade bite. Maybe it's not the willow blade bite. Throw that spinnerbait for another 30 minutes, not a single hit. I'm like, well, it's not a Colorado bite. I think I just cast it in the right spot. But we fished that whole bay for probably like 3 hours, just like I said, getting the lay of the land. And like I said, we caught like 3 fish up in there. So we figured, like, fuck, why not? So then we decided to go out to the bigger part of Little Bay to Knock and just start checking that out. We just do some trolling again, just checking shit out. And I'm looking at my navionics as we're trolling out there, and there's like 3 spots that are marked that are just these big flats. It's because it's a lot deeper in Little Bay to Knock. It's like 30 feet in some spots. And there's these flats that come up to like 10 feet. And then on the other side of them is that deep water. And it's just like this big, like almost a sunken island-ish, but it's fucking massive. Like it's hundreds of yards, across, and like as long as the bay. And I'm like, well, that looks good on the navionics. Let's go see what that looks like. So I just troll over to it and start trolling right over top of it, kind of going into the wind again. And all of a sudden it's like, we're marking great weeds down there. It's like 10, 12 feet, like navionics says. Same thing that we saw at Ogon's Bay. 8 feet weeds and really good weeds, like 3 to 4 feet of weed growth down there. Marking some fish in it, even on the graph. And I'm like, okay, this is promising. And I look around, there's like 4 boats around us. Like, we're obviously in a spot. There's a bunch of, you can see they're walleye guys. They're trolling around. So we troll through this spot and don't pick up anything. So I'm like, all right, well, let's drift. We motored up to one end of it, stopped, and then just started drifting through. And we casted, it took us, no exaggeration, 2 hours to drift across this reef. There's like 3 reefs that are marked on the navionics. And it took us that long in a pretty good wind, like a good chop, to drift across this whole thing, to give it some context of how big this fucking thing is. And it's all the same looking water. Weeds, 8 to 10 feet and 3 to 4 feet of weeds. And we're casting right over top of it. We're throwing, like I said, that's where I got bored. And I started ripping a bulldog over top of this thing. I'm like, fuck it. If you look at, have you ever looked at a map of Little Beta Knock, Bob?
It's been a long time.
Pull up
I know I have at some point.
Pull up your phone and just look at the Google Earth of it. And look at what is just southwest of Little Beta Knock.
Let's just pull up a map. Southwest of Little Beta Knock, or of
just,
what?
Or just south of Little Beta Knock.
You're talking about Escanaba?
No, the water. What's the water that's just southwest of it? What's the big bay that's right next to it? That's touching it.
Oh, it's Green Bay.
Yeah, that's literally Green Bay. I mean, right there. Like, we're fishing the waters of Green Bay, essentially. So, like, to think that, like, now makes sense why there's been so many muskie that have been, like, master angler muskie that have been caught in there, and then even big northern caught in there, because Green Bay is known for its muskie population. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, there's muskie. There's got to be muskie in here. I'm sure they're not as prominent as Green Bay, but I'm like, I'm bored. I don't care. Fuck it. I just trolled around with walleye gear. Didn't catch anything. I might as well start ripping some bulldogs around. So I started ripping bulldogs, ripping Medusas, throwing Poseidons. I'm like, go big or go home, right? Well, I went home. Didn't catch anything. We drifted that whole reef, dude. Didn't catch anything. It was like Mark and I were just flabbergasted, man. Like, it didn't make any sense. So we knew we were fishing good water. Something was up. Either it was like, it was a little bit of post frontal from, they had some storms and shit that came through. Water temps were about 60 degrees. Wasn't quite cold enough. I don't know if maybe the fish weren't up into the bay, or I don't know what it was, man. But it just, they just weren't biting. So, again, I don't know this bay. I knew Ogon's bay a little bit better from fishing that twice, but I didn't really know Little Beta Knock that well. So I was like, I told Mark, I said, I want to get closer to the launch before it gets too dark tonight. I don't want to be navigating this shit on them, because there's sandbars all over Little Beta Knock. Like, you got to be fucking careful out there. It's a whole different, like, Ogon's is just vast flatness, where Little Bay has got sandbars, islands, humps everywhere. So we motored back and got, like, back to the original spot we were fishing, basically right at the very northern part of Little Beta Knock, and just start casting around those shallows again. Figure we'll just finish the night off. All of a sudden we start not hammering pike, but like we caught like 4 pike in that last 30 minutes of, it's probably the last hour of light. And it's all shallow shit. And they're all like 22 to probably 26, 27 is northern, like not snakes by any means, but they're decent ones. But at least we got some fish in the boat. So, and so at least we finished up with some fish, and that was pretty much it for that night. Got back to camp, and then we were looking at the weather for Sunday, and Sunday they're calling for some ridiculous winds. So we start reading reports, and it's like 16-foot waves on Lake Michigan. And I'm like, well, we're fishing Lake Michigan, so guess where I'm not going to be tomorrow. I'm not going out on Lake Michigan. And then we were contemplating on going out to Dollarville, and I'm talking to Mark, like, man, they're talking 25 mile per hour sustained winds, 40 mile per hour gusts. I'm not driving all the way to Dollarville. Let's just find out it's going to be fucked up and, not worth the drive. So I said, let's just take the day off. We'll do some scouting in the woods, because that was the plan. Do some scouting in the woods, get some trail cameras set up, maybe get some bait on the ground. Baiting's legal in the UP. Shut up, people.
Calm down.
Calm down. So that's what we did Sunday. We woke up, took our time, and got in the woods. We found some spots. I'm excited to show you some badass looking spots, which I want to send you.
Do you have Onyx?
I do. I'm gonna
send me. Did you mark anything on Onyx?
I know where it's at. I mean, it's.
Send that stuff over to me so I can start doing some scouting.
do some research,
do some reconnoitering.
Canooters.
So honestly, my take on this trip, like I feel bad because I wasn't able to make it up. I was supposed to go on this trip, and I was even going to. All right, like the first part of the trip was going to be fucked up for me, so I'm going to try to shoot up Friday night so that I can go there Saturday. But then I was going to have to be back by Monday morning, so I would have to leave Sunday, and I just at that point couldn't fathom like, the 6-hour drive up there to get there late Friday night, early Saturday morning, spend Saturday, and then turn and burn on Sunday. Like it was just too far to go for such a short period of time.
You missed out on a good time though, man.
I know it's always a good time, regardless of whether you guys were actually, even catching anything. I just know that like being at camp with Arnie and all those guys would have just been fun anyway, or with you guys.
Oh, dude, it was so fun. Like, just sitting around, drinking beer, playing some dice, just telling stories. Like, all the boys came down to camp, and I stopped by and saw Don, just saw old friends that we hadn't seen in a year, and like it was just a good time.
Did Mark get to reconnect with Don? Did he get to see Don?
Oh yeah,
that's awesome.
Yep. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So the silver lining of the trip, like I mean, I don't want to say silver lining because it was a great trip. Like I said, we didn't catch a lot of fish. Didn't catch any big fish like we were going to, but we explored new water, had a great time. But Mark, he used to hunt up there a long time ago with our dad. And so Mark liked us so much that Arnie and I were talking to him about, like, dude, you should come up for deer camp. Like, there's plenty of room for you here. And he's like, yeah, I want to come up. This was fucking blast, man. I'm like, good deal.
Hell yeah.
Got another guy for camp. So
it's going to be a good time for sure.
Yeah. But just
what I was saying was the way that I would have, if it were my boat, right? It's my boat, and I have any kind of say.
Well, it wasn't, bitch.
And it wasn't mine. It wasn't mine. I still have.
Let me just say, you still haven't fucking fished out of my boat.
I still have not fished out of your boat to this day. But
I gave you every opportunity in the world.
This one time, but.
Last year too.
Where I would have focused my efforts would not have been Ogon's Bay. It would have been in Little Bay.
Yeah, but a lot of what I read about Ogon's Bay was like the quantity isn't there, but the quality is there. So that's really, and it was just so close. I mean, it's fucking 5 minutes up the road, 5 miles up the road. So we figured the first day, just to get on the water, like we really just let's just go see it. Let's try it.
I mean,
and after what we saw, like those weed beds that we saw, we caught a nice fish. That first night, then what we saw on that side of the island. That's why we went a second day there. Like if we would have gone Ogon's first, then Little Bay, that third day, we would have probably, after what we saw in Little Bay, we would have probably been like, oh, we're going back to Little Bay. Little Bay looks so much better than Big Bay to knock. But it was just because of like the way the wind was, and it just, game time decisions, and again, alcohol, maybe a little, wacky juice was involved in Mark's decision. Like who knows? But
I've only ever fished it. I've fished maybe Ogon's maybe once or twice, and then Little Bay maybe once or twice. But I just remember Little Bay being more like one conducive to the way that we fish, the structure and stuff like that, and like. In Ogon's just being more of like a Lake St. Clair type grind, just so like massive flats. I know Ogon's is world renowned for smallmouth.
Yeah, like
it's a huge smallmouth fishery, and I even remember catching smallmouth out there when I fished it with you and Don, and we were fishing with floating jig heads, fishing for walleye or whatever we were fishing for, and we caught smallmouth out there. But it was like. I remember going over to Little Bay, and like the Pike connection was real quick there. Yeah. And like we had a small little 14-foot aluminum boat out there on that big ass water like that, and still we're like I think we were trolling. Like we caught fish trolling, and I'm like, oh shit, we caught Pike trolling. So I was like, this might be it. So like when I was idealizing, coming up with the you know, a game plan in my head when we were planning this trip. I was like, we need to connect with like Little Bay. That's where these big fish are at.
Well, now that we've got our feet wet and we've got some lay of the land, have a better idea of it. We've got some stuff marked on it. I feel better. Like if we do that trip again, like next year, like I would love to do. I feel like hopefully we'd be a little more successful. But
I mean,
we wasted each day. We wasted at least half a day just trying to find weed beds. Like I cliff noted it and condensed it down a lot, but we wasted a lot of fucking time just driving around and trolling around and just covering sandy moon bottom, just trying to get these weed beds. Where like if we knew where they were at and we could just go straight to them, we wouldn't have wasted so much time. We probably would have got on more fish. But
was Arnie any insight to that? Because I know he fishes that. He fishes
a little bit,
Bay
but
and
dude, those guys are meat fishermen. They fish for fucking perch and walleye, and like it's just, Arnie was originally going to fish with us, but then once I told him like, yeah, we're going for pike, going for musky, all of a sudden he's like, I'm good. I'm gonna stay back at camp, because they're the walleye guys, which we I threw some walleye stuff because I'm like, at this point I just want to catch a fish, but. Anyway, so we scouted some new land. I sent you the waypoint I texted to you, Bob, of the spot that I found. One of the really good looking spots that I found. But went back and scouted the spot we normally hunt just to get a lay of the land there, and tons of tracks, tons of deer sign, and I did a little. Mark and Arnie were hanging back because they didn't feel like roughing it or huffing it like I did. So I did a little extra walking, and I got to one point where. Right at a creek, kind of a creek wet area that's right there. And all of a sudden I kicked up a nice doe. She jumps up in front of me. And then right next to her is a nice buck. I didn't get a super good look at it. I just saw good size horns, not like a little basket. Like it was good size horns taking off away from me. I saw it for a split second. And I'm like, that's legit. I like that. That's a good sign that, 50 yards from where my tree stand or my blind or my bait pile normally is, I got a decent buck there. So Mark and I kind of game plan or kind of came up with a plan. And I said, you know what, we're going to run into town. We're going to go get some bait. I brought up a trail camera. We're going to go put a trail camera up and throw some bait down and let's get an inventory of what the fuck's back here. If there's not, I set up a camera and 3 weeks goes by and I don't see that buck again, or I don't have any good pictures. All right, well then we go hunt somewhere else, or maybe we just hunt somewhere else anyways. Or maybe I've got some really nice bucks on camera and that'll reignite our flame of, that hunting spot. So we'll see. There was no sign of any other hunters back there or anything, but there was also no sign last year. And then there was every Tom, Dick, and Harry was walking in front of us. So you just never know.
I'm looking at that waypoint that you just sent me.
Yeah.
That's a whole different area than we've.
Yeah. Dude, we were just driving around and I came across it and I'm like, let's turn down this road. And I'm telling you, dude, it's fucking money. I just don't know how many dudes are going to be back there. And there's a big clearing too that I'm like, man, somebody's got to be hunting this spot. It looks too good for no one to be hunting it, but it's so far down in that peninsula that I'm like, I don't know if many people know about this spot. Locals, maybe.
A lot of private around there, so maybe the locals have an in there.
Yeah, maybe. But
I mean, there's a lot of fucking land around there, so like we could squeeze some guys in there. We just gotta get in there, man.
Yep.
Just gotta worm our way in there and
we'll check it out. And once we get up there, like I said, I'll see what's on camera because if we have some good deer coming up on camera, well, maybe we don't need to change it up and just keep hunting the same spots. And like you said, just make that spot our own. But
yeah, just take it over. Like three guys with 2 guys is kind of tough, but like you get 3 guys back in there,
make a presence.
Yeah, make a presence and hey, we can sit next to each other or not. It's up to you. I don't give a shit. Like that's the kind of the way I look at it this year is that like the last couple of years, like guys have walked up on me or whatever. And like last year I was all pissed off about it, but like, fuck that guy, man. Like I have just as much right to hunt this spot that I've been hunting for 10 years as you do for the first time ever coming back here. Yep. Oh, I've been throwing bait back here for a month. I don't give a fuck who you are, man.
Yeah.
Like, or what you've been doing. Like, I'll hunt right over your bait pile.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I don't want to do that. But like, look, dude, I've been coming up here every year for like 15 years. Like, I'll play your stupid game. But anyway,
we'll find you a good spot back there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, all in all, great trip. Had a blast. I took Mark by Kichikipi on the way home. He got to check out the big springs. He had never seen that. That was pretty
Oh, cool.
Stopped by Lato's Pasties. That's who needs to be our sponsor because, man, I've turned some fucking people on to Lato's Pasties. If you have not stopped at Lato's Pasties in the UP, you're fucking missing out. The best pasties on the market. And to give us some reference, Mark fucking hates pasties. Like when we were coming back, I told him, I said, I'm going to stop at Lato's and get half a dozen pasties to bring home. He's like, oh, I fucking hate pasties. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? How can you be a Michigander and hate pasties? He's like, they're always dry and they don't have any fucking flavor. He's like, those things are gross. And I'm like, dude, you're gonna try fucking Lito's pasties because I'm telling you, it's gonna change your mind. He's like, I said, that's where we're getting lunch on the way home. He's like, all right, whatever. So we stop there. I get my half a dozen frozen that I bring home, and we both got a warm one. He got ketchup, gravy, all that stuff, and I'm like, dude, try it without the ketchup, without the gravy. Takes a couple bites into it, and I can see he's not saying anything. He's like, this is fucking delicious. And I'm like, I told you. And dude, he ate the whole thing, didn't touch the gravy, didn't touch the ketchup. He's like, I don't need any of this. This fucker's juicy. This is the best pasty I've ever had in my life. He's like, you changed my whole mind on pasties. So that's coming from somebody who hates pasties, and now he fucking loves them because of Lito's Pasties. Check them out. You might be able to order them online. I don't know. They're not a sponsor, but I'm going to get them as a sponsor because
let's plug them anyway.
I'm going to plug them anyways because they're fucking delicious.
Like I live 6 hours away from Lato's Pasties, and I still get Lato's Pasties at least 3 times a year. So.
Oh yeah. Every time I'm up there, or if I know somebody's up there, I tell them to get me some fucking pasties.
Yeah,
they're the best. But anywho, lots to come up soon. Like I said, we got the Extreme Outdoorsman coming up. We're going to record with him in a couple days. That'll be next week's episode. And then we got Deer Camp Special coming up. We've got still working on Chad Stewart. It's like crazy windy outside right now. Got Chad Stewart coming up. I still got to iron out a date, but man, the DNR is doing some crazy shit right now. So I don't know if I want to have him on yet because I just saw they're proposing raising the fucking license rate. So I don't know. Chad might be in a bunker right now for all I know.
You get his ass on here because I have a bone to pick with him about the fucking raising of these license fees.
Yeah.
That I don't pay for anyway.
We'll see. I'll work on that. But we got Deer Camp Special coming up. We're going to have on location recording. So we're going to record at least one episode, if not multiple episodes, up at our deer camp. Jimmy's going to take the podcast to his deer camp. He's going to get an episode with Greg and Denny and the boys there. So we'll have lots of hunting content coming up soon. And then we got episode 200 around the corner. So I just rattled off the next 5 episodes. We're at 194, Bob. That's the next 5 fucking episodes right there.
Oh, shit.
I'm just saying. So, we got to start planning episode 200 because it's going to be big. But,
It's gonna be a big deal.
Yes, sir. But deer camp's around the corner. If you can see this video, order your swag. You need your koozies for deer camp. You need your hoodies for deer camp. Your t-shirts for deer camp. Let's go. Order this shit.
Fucking go.
My wife has no orders at the moment. She's finally caught up with anything that she has going on. So let's get her ass busy. She's feeling better. She's passed all her radiation. Let's get her to work. Order some shit.
Put her back to work.
Put my wife to work. Yeah, order your swag. Check it out. Maybe we'll do like a sale for hunting season. Maybe I'll do a sale. I'll think about that.
I think we should.
What do we do? Come up with a sale, Bob, and that's what we'll do.
50% off.
Jesus, stop it.
Cost.
No.
At cost to the first.
If that costs, then you're going to make these fuckers.
I also don't do any of that, so don't listen to me.
All right, we'll get your deer camp swag special. We'll do 25% off.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good sale. We'll do 25% off. So
that's damn near cost. That's got to be cost. Close.
God, I'm a better businessman than that. We don't make a lot of money on these. I try to keep them at a reasonable price. We're not mass producing these like from China. We're getting them from local stores, and my wife is making them upstairs in her fucking craft room. So very mom and pop feel, guys. So support your local mom and pop. Support the podcast. We appreciate everybody's support so far. Make sure you follow all of our pages. YouTube, if you're not subscribed to YouTube, we're going to keep pushing that. Hopefully get some content. I do have a little bit of GoPro video footage from this weekend. None of any of us catching fish, but I do have some video. I got to do some editing, get some of that pushed together. Bob's got a GoPro that maybe one day he'll use.
Dude, I can't get the damn thing to work, man. Fucking China-ass batteries I bought.
Jimmy's got some footage. I saw him, yanking it in the tree stand the other day. I got that video while I was up north. So he's got a GoPro. He'll be getting some video content. So hopefully we'll get some more video stuff to you. Hopefully this episode's on video. I don't know if Dan's going to be awake to get this thing edited in time. So it might start with audio and then he might be able to do the video after the fact, but we'll see. Other than that, Bob, you got anything?
Keep your legs crossed, your mind on Jesus.
And I got nothing. Get outdoors and don't be terrible.